Hey, this is Louis D. Fresh Brainer to you on a Saturday morning. I hope you are doing well. This will air tomorrow on Sunday, December 15th, 2024. It's a little side note because this is on my brain. If you ever notice now my little thumbnails on the upper right side of my introduction there too, before you click on the video, I usually try to look up what is a national day of whatever it is. And actually tomorrow's the National Bill of Rights Day. And so that's why I have the rights and I have a little camera. In case you've ever noticed that, because I know I used to have, if you look back on my archives, I originally had my photo, and then I had would do like a little whatever cartoon of whatever, and then I said, oh, let's kind of be authentic on whatever the day is, a national whatever it is, and that's what my thumbnail is. So anyway, now I said that, and that's probably gonna be my introduction. Today, what we're gonna be talking about is the free application for federal student aid, also known as the FAFSA. I try not to use the word FAFSA in these things because I know FAFSA is a registered trademark and I don't want to get any copyright strikes against me, so that's why I call it all a big old thing. But it is the FAFSA, and this is for the school year of 2025-2026. So whatever your year you are watching this, make adjustments to that. So that's what we're talking about. Now you may say, why we're talking about that in December 15th, because today's the 14th. Why are you talking about December 15th of 2024 for 2025-2026 is because we're always looking at school year ahead, because this year is already taking care of 24-25, which is a current school year. So let's do it. Be great if I press the right button. Free application for student aid updates for 2025-2026. And again, I don't think I mentioned it in my intro, so I'm going to mention it here. This is courtesy of Sallie Mae. They are one of the main, and this is my little plug for them. They are the major lending company for college. I actually borrowed from them as well to do my undergraduate / master's degree. So I am definitely, I was one of their customers. So they had a cute little free webinar. So I just took notes like a good student, and this is what I came up with. Quick points that they mentioned initially, and I don't harp on it enough. Remember, the FAFSA needs to be filled out every single year. Every single year that you are in college, even if you take a break or whatever, you always need to fill it out each year that you are attending college. Next school year, FAFSA should be ready. Keyword is should be ready on October 1st of 2025. But again, always things change or whatever, but this is what they're hoping for. And always remember, as they told us in the Sallie Mae webinar, to always please submit as soon as possible, because the early bird does catch the worm in terms of getting the most financial aid. To start, what do we need here? To start, you need an FSA ID, and I'm going to put it right down here as well. There's one that you need throughout your years in college. So as you guess, you need just one. So you don't need to keep filling it out and filling it out and filling it out and filling it out. So one FSA through college. That's why it's so important. And you are going to get also an MFA, multi-factor authentication, a secure code. Make sure that you save that, because I don't think they give it to you multiple times. So make sure that I use my phone for things like that, like phone numbers that I know I'm going to forget in terms of, like businesses or what have you. Make sure that you actually save these things on your notes on your phone. So this way you have your FSA ID that you're going to use once through your college years. It is sort of like an ID card, and the multi-factor authenticate, that one. Make sure you keep that code on your phone as well. And you get that at studentaid.gov, not .com, .gov. That means the government, and I'm talking about the United States government here. All right, and they also mentioned in the webinar that you need documents that both the student, you, and the parent, mom, dad, or we're gonna talk about what a mom or dad is. But you need these things: Social Security card, Social Security number, please don't put that in your wallet. Just write it somewhere. Don't put social security number. Just put the number. You don't have to put little dashes like like a number might be 123 dash 45 dash give me a 545. What do I go? 6789. There we go. There's usually that amount of numbers. There's 3, then 2, then 4. Don't put dashes because that's a dead giveaway that it's a social security card. Just put it somewhere. Don't put social security, but you need it. Mom, dad, and student. Email address and phone number. Again, I've said this for the last 4 years. Say it again. Make sure you have a professional email. Make sure it's nothing inappropriate. If you need to make a new email just for college, just make it. I've said that multiple times. And a phone number. If you're worried about phone numbers or whatever, have a Google phone number, have a WhatsApp phone number. I don't care what you do. But I know people are nervous about security, but you need a phone number. List of colleges to receive the FAFSA, up to 20 colleges. Make sure that no more than 20 colleges. Truth, you shouldn't be applying to more than 20 colleges. That's just more than enough. I think 6 to 12 is more than enough. But that's just me. And the taxes, maybe they are going to match up with the IRS, which we're going to talk about a little bit later on. You need to get permission to actually link these things up. But those are 3 sets of documents that you absolutely need handy. All right, now define roles. Questions will be pertinent to the student or the parent, which is good. So the student can do your questions, and then the parent can do their sets of questions. So I would do it together. I know sometimes it's hard, but I can't get together. Just talk to your parent. Say when is it best. Even if it's like 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday, whatever works best. It's just better to do it together to get it done. And you must give authorization, as I just mentioned, to the U.S. Department of Education and the IRS for financial information. We said, why U.S. Department of Education? Especially for the public schools like here in Florida, like Florida State University, Florida International University, what have you. All these, that's the reasoning why. Everybody needs to make sure that everything is authentic. So you're not going, well, I didn't say that. What are you talking? I'm going to sue you. So you need to give authorization. Now, if you are independent, this was also on the Sally Mae webinar. How are you independent? So I don't need mom and dad. How are you fully independent on your own? If you're married, you're good. Have dependents that receive your support in terms of money. So you have children. You have children that are under the age of 18 and they receive your financial support. You are independent. If you are active military here in the United States of America, like the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine, Coast Guards, you are independent. If you are, God forbid, homeless or on the brink of homelessness, you are independent. If you are 24 years or older, you are independent, or you are an orphan or a property of, as it were, of the ward that you don't have anybody. Unfortunately, then you are independent. So now, again, defining who, because these are important things. I mean, the actual document is important, but it's important that you know who's doing what. In terms of now, you're a student, you have questions to fill out. You're a parent, questions to fill out. If you don't need your parent, do you need your parent? You might need your parent. So, but what is a parent? Biological or adoptive? Adoptive, again, if you are legally adopting a child, especially for now in 2024, 2025, there are many gay couples that adopt children, though therefore they are the parent. Adoptive. So that's very important. You're living together. That could be a little dicey, but if you live together, you fill out your income tax together. Therefore, you can be you're a parent. Divorced, and you don't live with the kid. However, you provide the majority, 51% or more of the financial support. Then you are considered a parent. Or if you are unmarried, you're just married, Also means same sex, because I know that here in the United States of America, we do as legally have same sex marriages, and so that you can also be considered a parent. We're reporting assets. What we're talking about, just so you're going to tell you what is not, I think it's in the next slide, but I'm not sure. I don't remember, is the home that you currently live in. If you own that home and you currently reside there, and that is your primary residence, you don't need to declare that. But vacation, investment homes, you need to declare. You just do. Net worth of a business. Here, I mentioned net worth and net worth. What do I mean by that? Like, let's say your business is worth $100,000, right? But you still owe $50,000 for whatever it is, overhead, whatever it is that you may owe. You may owe $50,000 of business. What you're declaring in that asset is $50,000. Why? Because you still owe $50,000. So you're not declaring $100,000. One more time. And the same thing with the net worth of a farm. Whatever your farm is worth, subtract it from what you currently owe on that business or that farm. That is the net worth. Stocks and bonds, anything that you may have going on with the stock market, and college savings account. I know here in the state of Florida, in the United States of America, we have Florida prepaid. That Florida prepaid counts as an asset towards your education. Once you've completed the FAFSA, you've answered the questions, your parent has answered the questions, you get a summary of what you sent out. So you get a submission summary. Not necessarily, they're not going to tell you how much money you're going to get. You may be entitled, or you be based on that a grant. They call it a Pell Grant, but it may not. They may show it to you, but it's up to the college to decide what they're going to give or not give to you. Colleges will receive the data. So once you submit it, you get a copy saying, hey, this is what you got. Colleges, all the colleges that we mentioned that you put, the 20 colleges, they're going to get the data. And the colleges may request more additional information. They may want more. There's a little more here. There is something called, which I cannot remember what it is, where they may ask you for additional information. They may ask you more about that farm. They may ask you more about that business, because they're trying to get you in. Don't forget that. It's their business. They want you in. So they want to see what else do you have going on. Colleges will use the student, which is my next slide, Student Aid Index, SAI, write it down, SAI, to determine the aid amounts. That is a number that is used, and it can be negative, which we're getting into the next one, that tells you, okay, this is what you can or may be able to pay. So it kind of determines the amount. It does not mean that that's what you're going to get, but it is, this whole FAFSA thing is indeed the foundation of your college financial aid. And that includes even, because we're talking about need, write it down, this FAFSA is need-based, N-E-E-D, need-based aid. But it's also based on your merit, what you've done in terms of sports, in terms of clubs, in terms of your grades, because they look at all these things as an all-encompassing concept. So you definitely need to do this. This is why I harp so much on this FAFSA. All right, as I mentioned, the SAI, that's the number. For the people looking back on my archives, I mentioned something called the EFC. That was the Estimated Family Contribution. Now this is called the SAI. One more time, let's go back. It is called the Student Aid Index. Student Aid Index. That's a new term, not the EFC. This is how much a family may or can pay. It can be a negative number, being that, okay, you may have X amount of money, you may not have that much money. This is what you can pay, and it may be up to negative $1,500, being that you really, really cannot afford to send a child to college. Just making sure this is indeed my last slide. I was actually a little quicker than I thought because it was a lot of slides. Contact your financial aid office if special circumstances. Now, the reason I'm saying this is that because what we're talking about is 2020. When we're looking at this, we're talking about your taxes from last year. Remember, what we're talking about is 2024 now. So your taxes were from 2023. One more time, I'll let you digest that. 2024, we're talking about December 2024. We're looking at your taxes from 2023, and this FAFSA is for the school year 2025-2026. So what special circumstance? Example, here in Florida, we have these things called hurricanes. Hurricane came through, Hurricane Milton, Hurricane Helene. They caused significant amounts of damage. That does not show on your 2023 report because that happened in 2024. So with that said, like a natural disaster, or in the center of the country, the United States, they have these things called tornadoes, and they can destroy different things, property, what have you, homes, schools. So with that said, you need to make sure that they know that, hey, we have had this natural disaster. We have had a death, God forbid, your mom, your dad, your grandfather, your whatever passed away. Loss or reduction of income. Somebody may have lost a job this calendar year. There may have been medical expenses. Somebody didn't have medical insurance. The medical insurance bills were too high. All these things do not reflect on 2023's taxes, but they reflect on 2024 for your 2025-2026 school year. This is why I'm really taking time for you to write this down. You really need to let the colleges know that, okay, 2023, this happened, but in 2024, it's not reflected yet. And these things happened, and I'm having difficulty with paying because of these disasters, whether it be natural, whether it be a death, whether it be a loss or reduction in income, whether it be medical expenses. You need to speak to these financial aid offices individually and explain what's going on. So, like I said, I think if you look back on my archives, I think the first year or two, I did mention, I'm talking about 2020 during the COVID and 2021, 2022, post-COVID or right around COVID. I did actually go through all the questions. I think it was actually one of my neighbors. I sat down with my neighbor and we went through all the questions, and I did. So you may want to look back on that to give you ideas of what questions I might be asking. But I really wanted to emphasize, again, courtesy of Sally Mae, that things that you need, like your documents, who a parent is, questions that are for kids and for the parents. What is a parent? If you are independent, if you need your parent, that you need to give permission. I'm giving a quick summary here. And indeed, again, and I really want to emphasize yet again, those circumstances. Things do happen in between the year, and you really kind of need to let them know what's going on. So don't be embarrassed. Let them know. Be open. Be an open book. And the more open you are, the quicker you get this done, the more money you're gonna get. So that's all I got. I hope you enjoyed that. We have one more video to go. One more fish video to go for the calendar year 2024, and then we're gonna call it a calendar year, and then we'll be back in 2025. So one more video to go. This is Louis D. Fresh.